Hi, this is Simone. Wow, I need to sit up straight and look at the right position in the camera. I haven't shared a yarn talk episode in forever, and the reason for that is because after the last one, we got kittens, which were they still are very, very obsessed with yarn. They will kill everything that looks like yarn and they will eat it. And so knitting and crocheting or doing any kind of fiber related craft project is really hard when the cats are around. They have gotten better, but just yesterday, Judith, she's the worst with yarn and stuff. She grabbed one of my elastic closures for my journal and I didn't realize. I was just wondering where it went because I couldn't find it, and then I found remnants of it on the floor. So that one is history. And I think she also bit off one of the yarns of my sock when I was knitting on it. So it has been difficult to be able to knit when the cats are around. I really always need to be very, very careful not to make the huge movements around so they don't notice what I'm doing, and keep the yarn very close to my body so that I can keep everything safe. And the other reason for not being able to knit and work on creative projects is that I had neck problems. I have a disc, the disc bulge that was pressing on my nerve of my right arm, and it hurt really, really badly. I wasn't really able to write. I wasn't really able to do anything. So the only thing that I was doing was doing the minimum amount to stay healthy mentally and just getting through each day without too much pain. But even though it's still there and I'm managing the pain much better right now, I'm doing exercises to be able to be my true self again. And I have been able to knit crochet since the end of November, middle of November. I started back and working with tinier needles in November, and I actually finished something. But before I'm going to show you that, so it wasn't very successful in terms of finishing any knitting projects. I was able to start and finish two things, one of which I can show you, and the other one is actually at my brother's house, my nephew. In February, my nephew was born, and I was so drawn to making something for him. So I made him the double Dutch cardigan by the Knitting Expert. And I will put all the information in the description box below, and I will add a photo in here right now so that you can have a look at it. I really like how it turned out. And then in January, I started these. I had started them in 2019, but my gauge was so different to how it was before when I picked them back up that I decided to frock them completely. I wasn't too far along, so it wasn't that bad. And to frock them completely and start them fresh, and that was in January. And in June, I think it was the beginning of summer, I was able to finish these socks. However, my kitten, Judith, was able to grab them out of my sock box when I wasn't looking, and she put a hole through them. So now, before I can actually wear them, I need to find out how to hand knit socks, which isn't a bad thing to know, but I just didn't want to learn that early on in my sock knitting career. So that is something that I need to find out. So I finished those, and I have a project page on Ravelry, and if you are able to use Ravelry, there will be links in the description box below, but I also share all of my knitting things, finished projects, on Instagram, so you can have a look over there as well. And then I need to pick them out of I do wash my socks with my washing machine, but I put them into these bags. That's one, to help keep them safe during the wash, and also a signal to the person filling the dryer that these don't go in there. So I finished just before I started. I unwrapped my advent skein from the Cozy Knitter. I finished last year's. These were, well, the year before, so 2019. These were my Christmas cast on, and I used Mustache yarn, the advent skein, as well as some, so now what kind of yarn is that? I think it is, I don't know. It will be linked in my Ravelry project. I have my yarns on Ravelry as well. I really enjoy using that as a base for organizing my yarn and projects. And I will definitely keep on using Ravelry for that, unless there is something that is very similar to that. So that is a finished object. And then I made some of those dish scrubbies. There is a free pattern online that you can use, and instead of tulle, I used scrubby from Red Heart, I think is the yarn. You can get it at Michael's, Joann's, and I hold 2 strands double, and then it's a guessing game. You cannot really see where you are crocheting, or at least I can't, but you know, I use them in my sink, and what I like about them is that I can wash them, so I don't have to throw things away in my cleaning product. So I use this, and I plan on making more when and if the need arises, and they're also a really nice gift to give to someone. That is everything that I finished in 2020. So not a lot, but teeny tiny things. And now I would like to show you all of my projects, and I will turn the camera around and film another segment top down onto all the things that I have in my projects basket, which is absolutely overflowing, and decide whether I want to keep it or frog it. And yeah, so what I'm planning on doing for 2021 is pick 3 projects, creative projects that I'm working on each month. There is no finishing goal in mind. It's just to mix things up. I'm just going to pick 3 projects. If it doesn't work, I will adjust along the way. But for now, I feel like 3 projects on top of all the creative things that I'm already doing on a weekly, daily, monthly basis would be enough. And so, yeah, I want to pick 1 each month. Doesn't really have to be different. So if I'm really enjoying a project, I can just continue on through the year, through the month. It doesn't necessarily need to be a different project every month. But so I want to, on this podcast, I want to pick podcast, video, whatever you want to call it. I want to go through all of the things that I have, pick the one for January, and then I will definitely film another video where I share the 3 projects that I picked, and then come back at the end of the month and share the progress and how it worked and how much I enjoyed each one of them. But I also plan on filming more Yarn Talk videos throughout the year, definitely not monthly, whenever I feel like it. I do have lots of projects that I have already earmarked on Ravelry or on Instagram that I would like to maybe consider when I'm done and talk about my plans for 2021. No, not my plans, my future knitting plans. And I might just do that while I show you everything that is in this basket. So this is my overflowing basket of projects, and let's have a look and see what is in each one of those projects. So I tried filming from the top, but that just didn't really work. So now I already started going through all the things. I will do a short, quick recap for you. This project bag that was made by my friend Tina houses my granny stripe blanket. This was the first creative or fiber thing that I went back to after my neck pains and my arm was feeling better. It is so easy and mindless to work on. You can just add this much and put in the stitch marker and then continue whenever you feel like it. This is absolutely crazy colorful and I love the way it looks. I'm using opal mainly, and then I'm also adding in some pattern scroll. I am adding in some Felici from Stroll, from Knit Picks, because I want to stretch out the colorfulness all through, and so I'm trying to add new yarns as I go along. Leftover yarn, this one was in here. This is from the Milky Chai socks. However, I will need this to mend the socks, so I cannot put that scrap of yarn in here. The plan is that all of my fingering yarn scraps that I won't be able to use in anything else will go in here. And this is definitely a project that is a kind of lifelong project, and I don't have any intention of rushing through this or working on this. This is always here for me when I need it and when I want it. It doesn't count into my 3 projects for the month because it's just so enjoyable and easy to use. And it feels really nice to just sit somewhere, watch some YouTube and relax with this blanket. Then this project bag, also made by my friend Tina, houses the mystery knit along from Tina Say Knits, and I love this project. I really feel sorry that I don't have enough time to work on everything at once. I love the color combinations. I love how this is turning out. So this is definitely something that I will keep and continue to work on. Much to my own dismay, this is not the case with this project, which is housed in this project bag that I made myself. And this houses the Fantastitch shawl that I started in February or March of 2020. I'm not that far along. Long enough, but not that far along. I don't really know what it is. It might be the color combination. Even though I like the colors in theory, I'm not sure I like the way this is turning out. It might be the shape, I'm not sure. But, so when I pull this out, it's like, okay, nah. And I don't really think, or this should be how I feel about a project. There's so many other projects that are exciting. So I will put it aside, not put it aside I will put the pattern aside, leave it for maybe another yarn combination, or not knit it at all, and we'll frock this. And then I will definitely find a use for all the beautiful yarns. Most of them, this one is Mitchell's Creations. This one is Ashley from Nerdy Fibers, and she is such a talented dyer. So she sent this to me so that I would make a project from her yarns. This one is from her, and this one. And I do really love those. I love the way they look with each other. So I do want to work with them, but probably, and maybe not this project. So I need to find I want to find something else. I will look through my favorites on Ravelry to find something. This is my Christmas cast on 2020. This is the Advent yarn from the Cozy Knitter. The original idea was to actually knit along in December, but I was so exhausted. I was working so much in December that I did not have any energy left to, first of all, wind the yarn. I need to do this when my cats aren't there, and to also just cast on, and it just didn't happen, and I'm totally fine with that. I made my peace. I decided, even though I started a bit earlier than Christmas Day, these are my Christmas cast on for 2020, and I'm working on them the same way I did the 2019 one. I am working them on double pointed needles, 2 sets of double pointed needles, so that I can alternate between each sock and finish them at the same time. And I will also use the same pattern for the mustache yarn, the Christmas cast on 2019. I used the recipe from Susan B. Anderson. I will use the same heel, but I will try and use the heel that I used with the this one. I don't know why, but I have a really strange relationship with pointy toes, and I want to check again which one I like better. The bad relationship is the way the socks look, not the way the socks fit on my toe and feet, but the way the socks look. Let's grab this one. This is one of my first cast-ons ever. This is the 2nd Avenue wrap, and I do love it. This is another one of those, too bad I'm not picking this for my January project, so I know that I want to work on this, and I will get back to this in March, April, who knows when, February, but this stays on needles and this stays in a project bag. These socks will be my January project just because it's so new and fresh and exciting, so I want to keep on working on those. Then this is my Find Your Fate shawl, and I think I'm on the 2nd to last color now. The last time I shared this with you was here, so I did not really work add a lot of stuff to this. I'm using a yarn that I received in a swap. Wow, camera is not the best here and not the best lighting for this yarn. It is a dark blue, is it a gradient? It has purples, blues, greens, very dark, and I think that will, and it complements the green. The start of this, if I would knit this again, I probably would leave out this color. It just doesn't work with the rest, but that is something that I would call a learning experience, and it's not as bad that I'm going to frog or anything. Yeah, so that is something that I would really love to finish soon. If I can finish any of my projects in 2021, this would be one of the ones on the top of my list of want to finish. I don't plan on casting on anything new right now. Even though I enjoy working on different projects, And even though this is not overwhelming, I feel like this is as much as I can handle right now. I have some projects earmarked on Ravelry that I would like to cast on in the future, but I would love to knit another garment, so that would probably be the next thing that I work on. This is the tiny start of my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. I have picked a really fun, exciting color scheme, all blues and greens. That is something that I really enjoy. Those colors just speak to me. And so again, even though this is barely started, I will keep this and work on it when I feel drawn to it. I am drawn to it, but again, I can't work on everything at the same time. I would probably try working on this more before I'm going to work on a project that is this in those baby steps. This project bag keeps all the yarn that I use for, I'm just gonna hold it up so you can see what this looks like. This is all the yarn that I use for the granny stripe blanket, and I usually just sit down and pair them together, then I take a photo, put 3 balls of yarn into my bag, put the rest away, and then I work my way through the photo, and when I'm through, I'm gonna organize and add them together in a new way. And hopefully by the time that I need to organize them again, I have more scraps to work with. This is my only embroidery project. It is a Stitched Stories embroidery kit. I really like the idea. I like working on it. I have finished some pieces. Right now I'm not drawn to it a lot. I think that, so I finished this and this here. I started on the trees right here. I finished all the clouds in the top, and I finished this. Did I work on this? Yes, this one here too. So I think that I feel like this feels very much like a summer project. And so I have a project, I want to do project planner in my Filofax, and I'm just going to put this closer, maybe in June, so that I can remind myself that I might want to work on this in the summer. And that's what I'm going to do. Like, if I know that I feel like this is something to work on in the summer, then I'll put it on that list so that when I'm deciding on my projects, I already know that I have planned something for it. What is here? Oh, wow. My next socks, 2 at a time socks that I want to knit on circular needles. I purchased this skein of yarn from Luna Pearl Yarns at Stitches West in February of 2020. I haven't started it yet, but I can tell you one thing, that I really enjoy using self-striping yarn. So this is definitely something that I'm going to work on in the future. I probably will take it out of that project bag because I won't remember that I have it in here. I do think that just working on one pair of socks is fine, suffice for me. Do you say suffice or suffice? I don't know. It's enough for me. So I'm going to put this back into my stash so that I know that I have it, and put the needles back so that if I want to use them for something else, I can. So this goes here onto that pile. What else? Wow, sorry. Ooh, this is not mine. I will definitely give this to my son. My son started working on this Star Wars embroidery piece, and he had a lot of fun doing it. So I will definitely put this out for him to remind him of his project so he can get creative. there's another one of those. What else do we have here? Empty project bags. Okay, so this is not a project. I'm sorry, I dove down. I think I need to cut this out. This is something that I really, really would like to finish. I need to find the pattern for this, the original blog where this was on. This is an owl. I still need to add the eyes and the nose. This has been in my stash, in my unfinished projects pile for 5 or 6 years now, and I loved making them for friends. I had a tradition of making Christmas tree ornaments for my friends several years in a row, and that was one of them. I started in the fall and crocheted these owls for each one, and they all received one of those. Maybe I should start this tradition again now that I have friends here. So this needs eyes and a nose, and then it's done. It was so much fun to see how these came together, so I will definitely put a link in the description box below, because that is, if you are into making these little things, that is definitely something I can recommend to you. Here is another project that I am definitely going to frog. I do like it, and when I pull it out, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. But I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm not really good at those floats for, well, it doesn't really look that bad, does it? This is the Kitties Are Cute hat by Kitty with a Cupcake. And I meant to make this for my goddaughter or my niece, whoever would fit this. But I haven't really worked on this ever since I started, because it's very, very challenging for me. I was going to frog this after I talked about this, but now that I look at it, maybe I should frog it and make it for myself. Well, no, it's too small. What do you think? Keep or frog? Would I wear this? Probably not. So, what's the decision here? Will I keep it? Will I start it again? I really like this, actually. Maybe I should invest 1 more month and see how it goes. Okay, here, that's the idea. Let me put this back. Let me put this on a month in the future, like the embroidery thing. So I'm gonna go through all of the ones that I'm really feeling drawn to, and then I will pull out this and put it into my projects for the month. And then if I'm just not drawn to it and not taking it out at all, I know that it's not gonna work, right? Is that good? I like that plan. Okay, I will do that. This one is an old project as well. It is the what was it called? Sommerbrise. Look at what I have in here. Sommerbrise. That is from a German blogger or Instagrammer called Landherzen. I am on my last 2 skeins of yarn, and it was just increasing, and then garter stitch, and this is a cotton yarn. It was a nice summer and especially vacation project where I could talk and knit at the same time. And what I think I would probably do is keep it. And I had used this as like a car project, so where I would but I don't have needles on here. So either I probably need to get another set of those specific needles so that I can keep it in my car, or when on my shelf to leave the house. So when I go to doctor's appointments with my kids, I would take this and work on it, because it's so mindless, as the same way as the granny stripe blanket. But since we didn't go anywhere and waited for kids anywhere in the past year, I didn't put any work into this at all, unfortunately. So that is a keeper, but not a very much progress on here. And that is all the projects that I have in my basket. It's a lot. I will get rid of two-ish, but I feel excited about them again, and that is probably the best thing that could happen through this video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear what you are working on right now. I hope to see you soon, sooner than this last time. Until then, happy knitting. Bye.